After watching this film, I'm definitely bumping up my rating for Kong Skull Island. This film is not on the same level as this one. Let's get to the review. Welcome back to my channel. This is Let's Be Real with Brad. I talk about movies, TV shows, and all sorts of fun and exciting videos on the channel. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button, drop a like on this video, and hit that notification bell, as it would be gladly appreciated. Today, we will be talking about the last film in the Monsterverse before Godzilla vs. Kong, Godzilla, King of the Monsters. It is a sequel to the 2014 Godzilla film with Michael Dougherty taking over as director. It stars Kyle Chandler, Ken Watanabe, Millie Bobby Brown, and Vera Farmiga. I saw this film during the Thursday preview screenings back when it first came out, being incredibly excited for the film. I was very disappointed by how boring and bad the film was. 2 years later, I got the chance to go back and review the movie. I will say, the film is better than I initially thought it was, so without further ado, let's dive into the positives, starting with the visual effects. With all these films in the Monsterverse, they all look tremendous and fascinating to look at. The monsters themselves look a tiny bit better than they did in the first film. Many visual effects are being used, as I thought it all looked so incredible, being genuinely top notch. The cinematography is also excellent, like in the previous film. I really do love this cold, dark atmosphere the film presents. The film has a more bluish color tone that fits in with the setting it is in, primarily Alaska. The action sequences always look incredible with an incredible color palette that naturally makes the film darker. The sound design will always be impressive in these movies. Being able to hear all this massive destruction with buildings being smashed was outstanding to me. Hearing roadways being destroyed, the sound of the ocean waves bursting through is also great. Of course, when the monsters start going at it and yell at each other, it gets me more excited every time, especially when Godzilla gets knocked out and comes back up to kick some ass, which gives me chills. The score is also great, as I thought it was used appropriately and effectively during the film. It never feels overindulgent in itself, but to add a level of threat and thrills to keep me on board throughout the runtime. The action sequences also look incredible. We get way more Godzilla in this incredible action-packed movie. We also get a boatload of different monsters that the film doesn't shy away from in its title being King of the Monsters. All the monsters look incredible, making every diehard Godzilla fan lose their mind when they see how they all look and who shows up. The action is even better by being more fluent and having a ton more screen time. The action gave a lot of significant points to my score because it didn't disappoint. So let's get into the negatives, starting with the writing. The dialogue is highly dull and very forced throughout. The film decides to create unnecessary subplots that could have been cut from the whole movie and it wouldn't have changed a thing. I really don't understand why they continue to do this when the film doesn't even bother to have decent, well-developed characters. I'm also not going to hear the argument that it doesn't matter if the human characters are flawed because we are here for the monsters. The human characters are basically 80% of the movie, so yeah, they will affect the film if they are bad. I also found the acting to be the weakest out of the three. Many of the actors feel like they don't know how to act in a monster film. The majority of them never look scared or even remotely frightened. They look like they're posing the entire time. My other big negative is that this film is way too long, as it clocks in at 2 hours and 10 minutes. That is way too long for a monster film that doesn't have a good story or good characters. You really feel this halfway through the film, where it feels like it takes a century for this movie to truck along. I didn't really have a problem with this with the other films, but this one almost put me to sleep. If the film was shorter and they didn't cut out any of the monster fighting scenes, the monsters would have felt felt more involved in the film, pushing their percentages up, which would have pushed my score up and been more enjoyable. My last minor negative is that I didn't find the editing to be great in this film. It is definitely not as bad as Skull Island, but it's still very noticeably bad, with shots that don't line up and lose their fluidity with the film. Overall, this movie is a mixed bag for me that can capture everything we loved about the first film and expand on that with more extended, more exciting action scenes with fantastic visual effects and cinematography. Unfortunately, we get much worse writing, characters, and being overly long for its own good. This isn't a bad movie by any means, as it is just primarily dull and uninspired through most of it. Give it a watch if you are a big Godzilla fan. I am giving Godzilla King of the Monsters a 5 out of 10. So, have you seen Godzilla King of the Monsters? And if you have, what did you think of the film and where does it rank in your MonsterVerse rankings? As always, I will see you all in the following review.